The girl stood quietly near the metal gate of the spaceport, her face half hidden beneath. A faded gray hood ships came and went above her head, streaks of blue and white light crossing the dark sky. She carried a small bag and a datapad that looked too old for this century. When the man in uniform approached her, she looked up slowly, her eyes calm and steady. "Don't talk much, sir, but I can cook," she said, her voice soft. The man studied her for a moment. He was tall, with short brown hair, and the kind of look that came from too many battles. He nodded. "Works for me," he said simply. Girl followed him across the landing field. The air was filled with the hum of engines and the scent of fuel. Her boots made no sound on the steel floor. The man led her to a ship old and scarred but strong. The words HSS Frontier were barely visible on its side. She looked at it and smiled faintly. It looked like her old life, battered, but still standing inside. The ship she met the others. They were a strange group of humans and aliens, all working together in quiet rhythm. There was Captain Alina, who had a sharp mind and tired eyes, Mechanic Jory, who fixed things faster than anyone could break them, and the navigator, a calm alien woman named Lyra, with blue skin and bright silver Isis. The girl settled in, she realized. She didn't even know the name of the man who had hired her. His crew called him Commander Reed, though not the name she was told to avoid. He was quiet, spoke only when needed, and everyone respected him, even the aliens who rarely respected humansarespaceorcs. First day was long. The ship carried supplies across the border. Between human space and the outer colonies, a dangerous route full of pirates and unpredictable cosmic storms. She cooked in the small galley using whatever rations she found. She made simple food, but it smelled warm and real when she placed a bowl before Reed. He nodded once, no words, just the briefest look of approval. Weeks passed. The crew learned that the girl named Claire worked without complaint. She slept near the engine room and spent her free time cleaning or helping Jory fix broken circuits. Lyra, the alien navigator, watched her often with quiet curiosity. "You are not afraid of us," she said. One evening, her voice musical, Claire shook her head. "I grew up on the border," she said. "I learned that fear doesn't fix anything." Lyra smiled slightly. "Then you are wiser than most humans," she said. "Oh, night." A distress signal came through the long range scanner. A mining station under attack by unknown ships. Reed gave orders fast. The crew strapped in, and the engines roared. The stars turned into streaks of light. Claire stayed near the kitchen door, feeling the tremor under her feet when they arrived. The scene outside was chaos, burning metal, floating bodies. Drifting through space, Reed ordered the defense guns active. They fought hard, and the ship shook with every impact. Claire ran to help carry supplies to the medbay, though she was not trained. For war, she moved with steady purpose. On explosion rocked the ship, and the lights flickered. She fell to the floor. Something sharp cut her arm, but she ignored it and helped an injured alien into a bed. Lyra saw her and nodded in silent thanks. After hours of fighting, the enemy retreated. The ship drifted among the wreckage, the silence heavy as dust. Later, when the crew gathered, Reed looked at them one by one. "We saved 30 lives today," he said, his tone quiet. Claire sat near the wall, holding a bandage to her arm. No one noticed the small smile that touched her lips. She felt for the first time that she belonged somewhere of her. The next months, the HSS Frontier became her world. She learned the routines, the sound of the reactor at night, the hum of the artificial gravity, the faint pulse of music from Jory's workstation. She learned to cook for aliens with strange diets and humans. Missed home. Reed never said much, but he always finished his meal completely, and that was a new phone. They were assigned to deliver peace delegates to the planet Vera, home of the tall, crystalline species known as the Arn. The mission was supposed to be simple, but nothing ever stayed that way. As they approached the planet, a signal cut through the channel. "Unidentified vessels, stand down." The voice was cold and alien. Reed gave the order to hold course. Seconds later, beams of light struck their shields. Bridge filled with alarms. Claire felt the ship tilt violently. She held on to the nearest rail and looked out the viewport, where a massive alien dreadnought appeared like a dark mountain in space. Reed ordered evasive maneuvers, but they were trapped within a gravity well-in the chaos. Claire ran to the cargo bay. The delegates were there, panicking. One of them, an alien child, cried for help. Claire pushed through the smoke, found the child, and covered her with her jacket. She carried her through the shaking corridor until Reed met them halfway, his arm bleeding, his face calm. "Take her to safety," he said. She nodded, and Ranth battle raged for hours, and when it ended, the frontier was adrift, engines crippled but alive. They had survived against a ship 10 times their size. The alien dreadnought finally withdrew, leaving behind silence. And broken metal Lyra worked at the navigation console. Her hands trembling, she whispered, "They could have destroyed us, but they didn't." Claire found Reed near the engine room inspecting damage, his sleeve torn, his face streaked with oil. She asked, "Why did they stop?" he said. "Maybe they saw something worth sparing." His eyes met hers for a moment, then he looked away. Days later, the Frontier limped toward a neutral station for repairs. They were met by a council ship carrying messages from the alien queen herself. She wanted to meet the human crew who had shown mercy to her kind on the battlefield. Reed was cautious, but agreed when the queen boarded the ship. Everyone stood silent. She was tall, her body shimmering with crystal light. Her voice a soft echo through the hush, looked at Reed, then at Claire, the human girl who had carried her daughter from the fire. "You risked your life for my child," the queen said, her tone calm. "Why?" The girl lowered her eyes and said, "Because she was crying and needed help." The queen paused, then smiled in a way that made the whole room quiet. "You have my respect, human," she said. "Your people are known for war, but today you showed something stronger." From that day, everything changed. The HSS Frontier became a symbol of unity between humans and aliens. Claire became known across the colonies, not as a soldier or a leader, but as the cook who saved a child. Her quiet courage spread farther than she could imagine. Months passed. The crew repaired the ship and continued their missions across the stars. Each world brought new faces, new dangers, and new hope. The alien queen sent gifts of rare food for Claire, who learned to make meals that no one had tasted before. Even Reed smiled sometimes, though only when she was not looking. Gone evening, as they drifted near a red star, Reed sat beside her in the galley. She was stirring a pot of soup when he said, "You could have left after that mission. Why stay?" She smiled faintly and said, "Because it finally feels like home." He looked at her for a long moment, then nodded. "Works for me," he said again. The same words as the day they met outside the viewport. The stars burned brighter than ever. The ship moved forward, slow but steady, carrying a crew that no longer saw difference between human and alien, between soldier and cook, between war and peace. In the silence of space, they found something that felt like family, and for Claire, that was enough.